liberty and justice for all.
Council meeting called to order. Following answer roll call.
Mayor Ridenhour.
Here.
Earl.
Here.
Knox. Here. Miller.
Here.
Neely.
Here.
Newland.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. So approved. Fiscal officer.
$1,558,529.78 in all funds, $256,214.73 in the general fund.
Any additions?
No additions.
Bill to read, resolution 18-2-1 was adopted on motion by.
Knox.
Yes.
Earl.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Neely.
Yep.
Newland.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay, go to committee reports. Police report?
A lot shorter this week, or this meeting than we were last meeting, so, for two reasons. One, I have no voice, and two, there's not much to talk about, so I'll try to be brief. On Wednesday, February 14th, which I think was Valentine's Day, the Albany County Sheriff's Office and I served a warrant at 200 South Westminster Street, known as the Yale Building Apartments. You'll like this, Vicki.
Oh, great.
We arrested Jessica Meeks on a warrant that alleges she committed 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 1 count of engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity, corrupting another with drugs, aggravated trafficking in drugs, and trafficking in heroin. Meeks reportedly sold heroin and fentanyl that resulted in at least 1 death in January of 2017 down in Logan County. She was arrested without incident. At last check, she was still in Logan County Jail. Oh, it's right in your backyard. You didn't even know it.
No, I knew the name that was there,
Right.
but there's like a million people that's.
There's a lot of people. It's a revolving door right there.
I know the
So,
2 young daughters
Yeah,
that I didn't think were with them, but
yeah. They aren't.
They're not, they're with
Yeah,
grandma
they-
and grandma.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, they've got 4 kids.
Because they work with me at
and
the racetrack. And I
They've got
when
4
I-
kids and they all live with their grandma and grandpa.
Okay,
so.
all right.
So that was kind of interesting. It did go off without any incident. She was cooperative with us, and
Where was I at when all this
I
happened?
don't know. There were 4 of us down there, so. I mean, it was like,
A day late and a dollar short.
I'm thinking it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. It wasn't. I mean, it was dark, but it wasn't that late.
Valentine's Day, I must have been out. Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway, you're making my report. too
Sorry,
long, so let me go
sorry.
on.
Do you have a date or what?
I must have. Unless I'm great, I can't
It was so
remember.
great.
The only other thing I have to report on is the Waynesfield carryout gas station called in late January about subjects attempting to use credit cards to purchase a large quantity of cigarettes. This is actually the 3rd time this has taken place. In 2 of the 3 incidences, all the cards that were attempted to be used were declined. Now, I'm currently investigating the most recent incident, as I was able to stop the individuals and I took the cards that they had in their possession. These individuals were from Columbus. An agent from the U.S. Secret Service came to my office, and we were able to determine the numbers on the cards that I had taken from them actually had stolen numbers embedded on them. So we're still investigating that, but we don't think that organization, we think they're tied to a criminal organization, but after our encounter with them, we don't think they'll be back. So we'll see what happens. But that's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you. Administrative report.
Just wanted to report that we did fill the vacated position. They've been open since last fall. We hired local resident Joe Spillman to be our Class C maintenance operator, and he's been with us now about 2 weeks. Doing a good just so you know, Scott Hicks will be taking some time off medically. He's having a procedure done that will take several weeks for recovery, but we have a plan A and B in place to cover our electric in the interim of that. So we feel pretty confident that that'll be taken care of. I mean, anytime you have in-house service, you know, we get very timely response. I don't foresee any difficulty, but it could be a little lag in time if we have an issue, you know, so, but knock on wood, we haven't had any village-wide outages. That was village results, and I don't know when, and so if it's an individual area, it just may take a few hours to get that, but hopefully, you may get calls, you know, if you do, get them to us, you know, so that we get somebody coming in as quick as possible. We've had a couple of water leaks due to the cold weather, we're assuming, or just natural deterioration over the last couple of weeks, and you guys have really done a good job of getting those resolved very quickly. A little bit of course, with this type of weather in the ground and everything, saturation is a muddy mess, and so we'll look to put those back in place as soon as we can. I did look at the sign out at the industrial park since your last request, and we kind of got a plan in place to paint that, paint it in place. A couple of things, we'll probably want to use the bucket truck, and we're going to need for it to be dry, firm it all up. But I think what we're going to do is just paint it in place, at least the signage, and then I need to get a hold of, I'm sure it's a village sign, isn't it, the whole thing? But the individual signage may belong to the business, but we'll look at that, and that's all I have.
Questions? Mayor's Court report, $1,701 was deposited into the general fund from Mayor's Court accounts for the month of January. And with that, we'll go to old business.
I'd like to make a motion to declare an emergency on this reading, to have a second, third reading. Just declare an emergency and get this thing over with.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yep.
We need to have another motion.
No,
That was just to suspend the rules.
Okay. I'll make a motion to declare emergency reading to establish and schedule fines for the village, for the traffic in the village of Waynesfield.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yep.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Any other old business? We'll move to new business.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rule of three readings and declare an emergency. For ordinance 18-2-1.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Newland, Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Are you gonna be going back to online? Can't be going in and one of my
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 18-2-1, an ordinance to amend corporation ordinance 18-1-1.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Is everybody understanding of what this is? What it entails?
It's actually this, isn't it?
Yep, there's the resolution. Yep, and then the second part of that would be, our resolution, but it's their adoption agreement.
Does anybody have any questions? I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 18-2-2, a resolution for adoption of the plan under the Ohio Public Employees Deferred Compensation Program.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Is this gonna have to have 3 readings then?
No.
Okay,
nope, this should be a resolution.
okay. See now.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 18-2-3, the adoption agreement between the Ohio Public Employees Deferred Compensation Board and the Village of Waynesfield.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
And this next one, everybody understands where this location is?
Shop.
Yeah.
By making that a four-way, Fred and the chief, we've all talked on the location of the sign on the west,
Southwest part of the intersection,
southwest.
or eastbound traffic.
It will be considerably back from the intersection where it was. We are going to try to reinforce on where we put it, so you don't want to hit it. But there will still be pretty good distance from the sign to the actual intersection, which I still think we're fine.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, and the other two that are proposed, I don't foresee any problem
No.
with those.
Years ago, that was a four-way,
Right.
a four-way stop anyway.
Right. And then the one sign that is still up is on the electric pole. I'm not sure if that would be in compliance or not.
It is.
It is?
Yeah, it's the correct height, so it is in compliance.
Okay, so that one we can leave alone, but we'd have to install the other three.
So the one come from the west, going east, will be back, will still be under, the code's okay?
Yeah, as long as it reaches the appropriate height from the
Okay.
bottom of the sign down. As far as the intersection goes, the village can kind of set where the intersection begins. And since there aren't sidewalks, since it's an alley, basically the intersection begins where the location of the stop signs are.
Okay.
So it just increases the intersection width a little bit. But the reality is we were looking at the intersection, and you know, the big issue is coming off of West Wapakoneta Street. As long as those vehicles stop, there won't be any problems with the east and westbound. And that's kind of what we've seen, is they get off of West Walpole Street and travel north, and they tend to go a fairly decent rate of speed up to where Kevin McLean lives.
Okay.
So by making that a four-way stop, that should alleviate that problem. And with the increased traffic we've seen going to the Dollar General, a lot of people walk those alleys. It's important. I mean, I think it's definitely important to slow traffic down through there.
Yeah.
Listen, we just got certified in CPR. Don't make me use it.
Can you just do something with it?
Earplugs in and I'm out.
And actually on this, it should say have a first reading on ordinance, it would be 18-2-2. It would be to amend 13-8-1.
And for the record, I wouldn't oppose, I mean, it's up to you guys, I wouldn't oppose to suspending the rules on this one either. I mean, it just depends on how, if you want to garner public input on the location, making that a stop, you know, four-way intersection, or just going ahead and doing it. That's,
The
you
weather's
know,
ready.
I think sooner rather than later probably will be a benefit to make that a four-way intersection.
Do we need to get any permission or anything? Because you talked about reinforcing the post, you know, the cylinder, concrete, or whatever. I mean, what right of way do we have there to put a sign in?
We would have to look and see what, I mean, we have the alley right away, so whatever the distance is from, you know, from the center of the alley.
Typically,
Excuse me,
the alley's
center of the
right away is 16 and a half feet normally. Whether that one is or not, I'm not sure. But as long as we're within that distance.
Right. We just need to determine if our paved portion is in the correct portion of our alley, because we've got some places in town where the paved portion is not really where it's platted or whatever,
So
so.
to avoid a lot of that, if the location you're talking about is Century Lane.
CenturyLink and Cotton property, the lot line. But that's where it was before, okay?
It was.
Right, and there is some concrete down where the post was set in concrete. Well, and it just snapped it off. And my suggestion was to core a column that you
So
don't.
it's going back where it was. I was thinking it was up further and it was getting knocked over, so I was
No.
moving it back.
No.
It was-
It's actually going pretty much in the same location.
Well, if that's the case, then I think we just I was thinking it used to be up further and it got knocked over, that's why we were bringing it back. If it's in the same place it always has, then we'll just do that.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rule of three readings and declare an emergency.
Miller,
Yes.
Neely, Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to declare an ordinance. Yes.
18-2-2.
18-2-2. An ordinance to make a four-way alley between West Wapakoneta Street and West Perry Street a four-way stop for the village of Waynesfield. Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Any other new business?
She's talking about Melvin someplace. No. Right there? Okay. All right.
Well, the weather's gonna change and people are gonna start being out more, and I imagine we'll have a lot more to deal with as far as everything that goes on. Walking path will go out for bid.
Hopefully in March, that's the plan.
Got for bid in March.
They go out for bid. And then, of course, I don't know the timeline, but I think its expectation is for July. But we'll wait until we see the projection on the bids, but it's supposed to go out to bid in March.
Okay.
And then when that goes out to bid, we're hoping to get a contractor to do our blacktopping bid at the same time to get a better rate. So there'll be a lot of activity this summer.
Yeah, which is good. Hopefully there'll be a lot of people wanting to do work on their properties and so on. Where are we at on property maintenance procedure, I guess you might say?
That'd be a question for our village solicitor.
Okay. The procedure that we should follow, the committee should follow for the property maintenance, how it should be handled, who, what, when, where, all the things to get that accomplished. We need to, because here spring's coming and hopefully people start doing some cleanup. If they fail to, then that's when this committee needs to try to address it.
Okay.
So on. But we definitely need some sort of protocol on how we're going to do this.
As far as like code enforcement and keeping property where it needs to be.
Yeah.
I think you were CC'd on an email after the last council meeting from Mark Van Dyne in reference to enforcing the junk vehicle ordinance.
Yes.
And how council would have to readopt all ordinances that were not in the Ohio Basic Code. There were some logistical issues with that because there are a boatload of ordinances and the like that aren't necessarily mentioned in the basic code. So there was questions on how to proceed to pass those, and according to the email, I believe council had to readopt those ordinances every year. It could take several hours every, the first council meeting to do that. So there was a question on whether or not we could have a blanket, passage of XYZ ordinances or how that process was.
As far as to readopting, I would believe at this time you could probably do it all at once. I will confer with Mark once, again, really quick, but I believe you wouldn't have to do it individually. You could reauthorize them all at the same time.
I mean, this one we authorized last year, we have to do it again this year, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, basically any ordinance that council has previously passed that is in conflict with or goes beyond what the Ohio Basic Code sets forth, because you guys as council, you guys adopt the basic code every year. And if there are any ordinances that supersede what council has approved with the basic code, council would have to readopt those ordinances in order for them to be effective, so they would have more teeth, so to speak, than what the basic code outlines.
So, yeah, I will talk with Mark going forward, and I should have an answer for you by next council session. Okay.
I got rid of my junk vehicle.
We're going to do business. So anybody's been in anybody's ears or anything, with problems or anything?
Nobody's been knocking on the door.
Well,
I haven't heard from hundreds.
okay. Solicitor, you have anything?
I have to report it, nothing to report right at this time.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Neely.
Yes.
Thanks, folks, appreciate it.